What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. In today's video, I'm going to do a recap of the Polyhedra airdrop that took place this morning, talk about my thoughts, where I thought the team kind of dropped the ball, let's just say. And also, for those of you who are wondering how to claim it, trade it, etc., I'll show you all that too, so we have the whole picture. So, with that being said, just remember, nothing I say here is financial advice. Please do your own research. Also, as a reminder, we do have a private group, the Web3 Secret Society. If you're interested in the personalized coaching, guidance, and support, you can find the links to that in the description below. So this morning, Polyhedra gave us a bit of a juke. They announced that their airdrop claim went live. Now, we knew this was going to happen. I mentioned this a couple days ago in a video, but the proof is in the pudding. So the first thing, and I'm going to talk about the many ways that it wasn't the best execution. The first thing is I clicked on it and bang, it had a restricted jurisdiction. So basically, I don't understand why for those of people who don't have a way to get around this, like a VPN, why don't these protocols ever tell us that they do not qualify people from certain places? That's the first thing. I heard a few people who told me they can't get access to a VPN, and because of it, they're unable to collect their airdrop. So this is really stupid. I mean, maybe they did announce it, but I've never seen it anywhere. They definitely don't market it, at least, so they kind of keep it hidden if it is such a case where it's in their terms of service. Obviously, one of the things you can do is if you have a VPN. So I always love to VPN from the UAE or Dubai, and the reason for this is, well, Dubai is one of many in the United Arab Emirates, but it's a very crypto-friendly zone. So I imagine there would never be any issues. That's why I picked that as a VPN target. And doing so, I found out that I got 140 ZK tokens. So the first thing I did, obviously, was run to the market, see where ZK was landing. I think it was sitting around $2.8 at the time. Typically what'll happen is when a token first comes out, it'll sell off, and then it will sort of have a bounce when most people have sort of gotten out or sort of kind of paper handed the token. For me, it didn't really sell off from where it was, so I just sort of sold my 140 tokens. And this gets to us to probably the biggest issue I had. And the biggest issue I had, even before we talk about allocation, is when I went to claim this, right? So I saw the token value, I went to claim it, and I was shocked to find out it was on the Ethereum mainnet. Like, absolutely, should be careful here, but really, really stupid. Like, completely clueless, completely out of touch. I just don't understand. Like, why would you want to charge a massive tax to your farmers, especially considering you're interoperable? Like, it'd be one thing if you were launching on ETH mainnet, but you literally have your pick of the litter and you shortchanged a ton of people on this airdrop. And then you're like, hey, guess what? I'm going to not only do that, because what we found out was most people got 10 to 20 tokens, right? I'm going to talk about why I got 140 in a second, but if you got 10 to 20 tokens, that's like what, like maybe $60 if you got 20 tokens. And $60, it cost me $15 to claim and about $25 to $30 to swap into Ethereum on the mainnet. So that was $45 by itself. It literally doesn't make it worthwhile, and it's really nonsensical and stupid. So if you are wondering, for example, you got the ZK airdrop and you're like, how do I sort of swap it? So I sort of put all the links in my Twitter. All you got to do is go to the airdrop claim, go to sort of polyhedra.foundation/airdrop. I'm going to include the links to everything in the description below after. You sort of select this contract address and you put it into Uniswap. And by doing that, you sort of, let me just sort of copy and paste it here so you see it live. We'll do it there. I'll put it here. Am I on the right network? Here we go. Gotta go to Ethereum, and now we'll do it. And Polyhedra will show up here. So if I wanted to, for example, I don't know, say if I want to buy these tokens back, it would cost me about 0.1 ETH, right? So pretty much the same thing over here, right? 0.1184. I'm only going to pay 1.11651 to get the same amount back. So, that being said, this obviously is impacted by the broader market, right? Like, I'm sure none of you are surprised, or not even surprised, but I'm sure no one is surprised when I bring this up and all you see is a ton of red, right? Ethereum's down 21% this week. Bitcoin's down 14%. Solana has actually given up a ton of its gains over the last little while. Remember, this token was at $210 just like 2 days ago. It's 168. And we're seeing a lot of things sell off. And, that's normal, right? Like, don't be surprised. We had an extended run. This is why you want to sort of buy the bottom, sort of sell at the tops or take profits at the tops. What is nice is we've seen the fear and greed index go from 93% to 74. So maybe it's a couple of days and we're back to neutral. And you know what? This is why, like, Bitcoin, 61,000 is still an incredible amount to be at. Maybe it goes on to 55 to 57K. Who knows? But that's whatever. Now, getting back into this, like, literally the irony is Polyhedra, they almost like hijacked the ZK ticker, right? So if you were to ask me, I think ZK or ZKS would have been the ZK Sync ticker for their token. Obviously, since they've been dragging their feet, Polyhedra sort of took it over, and they've been like pumping their chest out, talking about how they're the end game. And Jumper Exchange jumped in and was like, "Yeah, they're the end game." They say, right? Like, they have a picture of, I think this is Sydney Sweeney, right? Sort of expectations versus reality. I'm not gonna sort of explain this. I'm sure you know what that means on what they're referring to. And the reality, right, is the team has recognized this. So the team knows that this did not go well, right? I'm not a fan of these canned responses because I feel like everyone just has a copy pasta on this, right? Like, it's almost always seeing the same kind of message, which is some fake statement around, like, how the people are so important, right? They're like, the community matters. But I saw someone tweet, when everyone who says this screws your community first at the first chance. So, they say they're truly grateful for whatever. And the way they show they're grateful is by airdropping you on ETH mainnet, right? The way they show their gratefulness, or the way they show that they're grateful to you, is by giving you like next to nothing, regardless of how much you paid in gas fees, right? And obviously they're saying, there's some concerns. And yeah, we're taking this matter very seriously. Your feedback has been heard loud and clear, and we are actively addressing it within our team. Literally, like, this sounds like someone wrote this with ChatGPT, and I wouldn't be surprised because this seems so like fake. It seems like such a fake response. Rest assured, we're committed to making things right, and we'll provide you with updates on our progress soon. Looking ahead, we have exciting plans for more community airdrops. So, like, they haven't finished this one. They say they're thinking about it, but like, hey, guys, guess what, guys? We're gonna do another airdrop. So, come back. We're probably still going to give you on ETH mainnet. We're probably still going to give you a few tokens, and we're going to laugh at you because it's not even going to be worth it to claim and swap the tokens. And I heard someone tell me, like, apparently their theory was that Polyhedra might get all the unclaimed tokens, and maybe that's why they're like, big brain, like, figure this out and airdrop it on a chain where, like, it literally makes no sense to claim it. But either way, it's pretty stupid. Now, obviously, whenever things go wrong, and sort of, I don't like this, but basically, like, CC2 Ventures has been very good in talking about sort of a lot of farming strategies, especially those around Ethereum layer 2s and interoperability, right? Permissionless interoperability. And, he basically said, like, people were attacking him, calling him a sellout because he was basically not so much defending the team, but saying, hey, guys, let's see what they say, right? So what was surprising, they didn't really care about the volume. Once again, remember, when these things happen, we want to pay attention and try to, like, think what we do next time. So for here, they didn't care about volume. Apparently, they cared more about sort of campaigns, and the NFT was massive. So CC2 Ventures posted about the legendary Pandora NFT back when it was like $80 or $100, and I purchased one, and it went all the way to like $400 or $300. I ended up selling it. It ended up selling off after, but you can see here that 120 tokens of my 140 came from this. So, it's definitely something, I think that, we've got to internalize. So a couple things. Number one, I do agree with the statement that we have gotten some incredibly lucrative airdrops. I didn't get judo. I got dimension. I didn't get the Manta campaign airdrop, but I did get like the Manta loot boxes, which was profitable for me. Wormhole, hopefully it's going to be. I got like a couple thousand here and there of the token, so we'll see how that goes. But you know what? Like Polyhedra really was a flop in the sense that and I'm trying to take myself out of this, right? Because I still made like, maybe 350 bucks off it, if I take away all the fees. But, $350 minus 50, so maybe 300. But I'm thinking about everybody else and those who had sort of farmed transactions consistently, they got screwed. And I from what I've heard, most people got between 10 and 20 tokens, with the exception, obviously, like people who had these NFTs and everything else. So where do we go from here? Well, I would say to you guys, because the first thing that came up in sort of our private group was, well, is it even worth it to farm Hyperlane and Layer Zero and all the others? I'm like, yes. Just because one project really screws up doesn't mean that we sort of give up or stop, because there will be massive airdrops and there'll be airdrops that aren't worth it. Like ZK was not really worth it for the most part. I would be surprised if Layer Zero is like that. Like, for example, Wormhole is going to be massively worth it, right? I've heard more people pause about Wormhole. And by the way, apparently the Wormhole airdrop is highly speculated to take place like on Wednesday, which right now in Toronto it is Wednesday, but I don't know where you guys are. So I think we keep moving forward. Don't let this get you down. Like I said, I think some people took out of context what I said 2 days ago around taking profits on these airdrops. Some idiot had actually said, I can't believe you sold all your dimension. And I'm like, literally, the example I gave for dimension was that I only sold 1/4 of it because I thought it was too valuable. And some idiot posted in my comments being like, oh my God, I can't believe it. You're not going to make it, blah, blah, whatever, these dumbasses. But hey, apparently some people either have really bad comprehension or they sort of just hard at hearing. I don't know which one it is, but I think, for me, I didn't want any ZK token. Obviously the sentiment here is trash too. And I basically rotated it into ETH, right? Obviously not much, it was just 0.1, but everything helps, especially when the market goes down. And the reason I say this, right? I'm not saying to sell all your airdrops, but how can you stay on top of every single project, right? Like you look at Polyhedra, and if you have to manage Polyhedra token, Hydra Finance token, which also came out today, or basically a bunch of others where like there is no real way for you to stay on top of things. So this is why I tell you guys, like, make sure you have a plan. Make sure you go, hey, like, I got like maybe 15 or 20 tokens that I'm actively monitoring, that I'm actively like making sure I know what's going on. And otherwise, you're just going to literally be like, what is going on? So this is why I think like people take it the wrong way whenever you say sell. Like if I ever tell someone to sell, there's always gonna be someone in the comments going, "Oh my God, this brown guy. Why is he telling people to sell?" Right? Reality is like, I would rather people put their positions in things they believe in than, hey, like I got this free, so it's free money. Well, you know what? Like I said, if I give you $1,000, are you gonna treat it any less? Are you gonna treat it as less valuable than the $1,000 you work for? Like, I don't know how people have this disconnect, right? Like, it is still your money. You are still it. So that's why I think if you're going to do it, like, I would rather see people take that money from ZK and put it into like a Solana meme coin. Maybe send some Solana to one of those weirdos who seems to like rug people. Like, there's been tons of rugs there. Even that is a better idea than parking it into tokens that you have zero clue about. Because at least with those ones, sometimes you'll get momentum and you'll get some big score. Here, it usually just sort of kind of dilutes, especially as they drop more tokens and the VCs get their share as well. So that's really my thoughts. Obviously, like, I think Polyhedra did a shit job. Hopefully they will have an update. Hopefully they'll give us more tokens. One more thing basically here is that like Merkley did get some ZK tokens. So I know a couple of us were using Merkley to do the top ups, using it to sort of do the NFT bridges and all that. Maybe we'll see some redemption here. What I really don't want to see is more ZK token dropped on ETH mainnet. I think that is probably the dumbest thing. Like, even if you give people small amounts, like, I think people got 20 ZK token, but at least it wasn't on ETH mainnet. Okay, you got $50, not great, but at least it wasn't like a punch in the face. What they did was literally the dumbest thing ever. So, Polyhedra sort of wrap for me. Like, I'm not leaving their Discord yet. I will wait to see what their announcement is, and then once I sort of clean this up, I'm out and I'm not going to use it again. I think Hyperlane is a way better protocol. I've been farming Hyperlane a ton. I think, if you haven't already, it's worthwhile doing so, in my opinion. And then the other things that I think you should look at is just keep farming the ETH layer 2s. Super valuable. I think there's just way more potential. And yes, we might run into some flops, but on average, I think they will pay better than sort of what else is out there. So that's really my thoughts. But you know what? I want to make sure that I give you guys time to do an AMA. We got half an hour, so we're going to jump over to that one. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video as well. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers. And until next time, we'll see you in the AMA. Thanks for watching.